This is Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneurs the Playbook, and I have Paige Spiranac. I had to say that quickly so I didn't screw it up. Just global superstar. I hate the word influencer, but I would say
hate it too.
Great person. You have a great personal brand. Obviously, a personality in golf. You're athlete, model, whatever you want to call yourself. I call you an entrepreneur, a total freelancer who understands the power of your brand to help people. And that's a better definition than influencer. In order to get to a position where you can help people with your brand, I believe the most important thing is the content that you have.
Yes.
And that content with you really starts with character, because like most of us, your life wasn't perfect.
No.
and a lot of people think it is.
Yeah.
And early on, what were the major challenges that you had or faced or feared when you first started figuring out, gosh, you know, I want to be a gymnast, right? I think that's your parents were great athletes. You wanted to be an Olympian.
Yeah, so I was an elite gymnast. I have come from a family of athletes. So my dad played football at Pitt. They won a national championship. My mom was a professional ballet dancer. My aunt was a professional tennis player. My sister ran track at Stanford.
Nobody did the same things.
No, it's been all across the board.
You're not the Mannings, that's for sure.
No, and so I got into gymnastics and I wanted to go to the Olympics, but I had a bad birthday, which
Didn't you know you're going to be this tall?
Well, yeah, I was too tall. I didn't have the right body type, and I also had like a lot of fear issues. Like I never wanted to get hurt. So I ended up fracturing my kneecap twice, and after that, my parents were like, you should probably quit. Yeah. And throughout that whole time, I was homeschooled because I had a lot of bullying issues growing up, a lot of health issues.
So talk about the bullying, because back then it could have been like cyberbullying, right? It wasn't quite available. What kind of bullying? Like a lot of people talk about bullying, but they don't know specifics of what that even means.
Yeah, so growing up, I had an issue with my hair where it would just fall out, and so
I had the same issue.
So I was pretty much bald, and a lot of kids wouldn't stand next to me because they thought I had the disease. And then in gymnastics, girls would spit in my drinks and throw birthday cake out and really exclude me. So I've been bullied pretty much my entire life. Kids would throw rocks at me, like
really?
Pretty much as bad as it possibly could be, it was.
When that happens, did you have like one friend or someone you could talk to?
I didn't think I really had any friends. I would just kind of adapt to whoever was kind of nice to me at the time. So I didn't really have true friends until I would say college. But pretty much through my whole life, I've dealt with bullying. It's been an issue for me. And so when I speak about cyberbullying now, they're like, what have you dealt with? Like, you don't know. So I was
You're perfect.
Yeah, they're like, you know, the way you look and you have success, but they don't realize that this has been kind of like a lifelong issue that I have dealt with. And so I was homeschooled until college. So for fourth or fifth, I think it was fifth grade until college, I was homeschooled because my parents were just too scared of what girls would do to me and all the bullying. And so it has been like a pretty big problem my entire life.
Wow. And then you go to college and you're a great golfer. You really are. And you play in the Arizona first?
So, yeah, so I was top 25 in the world in juniors and got a full ride scholarship to play at San Diego State.
And were you still being bullied when you were in college, or did you build friends?
Yeah, so it's actually a really funny story. Well, it's pretty sad when you think about it.
Ironic, maybe?
Ironic is more the correct term. But I was being stalked and harassed by a group of girls they were just students, and I ended up having to delete my Instagram because it got so bad to the point where they were following me around on campus, sending me death threats. It was really, really scary. And then they ended up creating a fake profile and tried to switch it and send it to my coach. And I actually almost got kicked off the team because she thought I was the one bullying. And so we took it to the police, and we kind of figured everything out. But after that, I said, I'm done with social media. I am never going to post anything ever again. And then it was my senior year, and I said, it's my last year. Like, I have a lot of family who, wants to follow me. So I created an Instagram account, and I said, I'm only going to post golf because no one can bully someone on golf.
Right.
Which I was wrong about again.
No.
But that's kind of how it started. So then I only just started posting golf swings and golf pictures and trick shots.
You're
and
Paul Rabel of golf.
Just things that were just fun and interesting to me, and I thought were very just kind of harmless and wholesome.
And they still found a way to bully you?
Yeah, so then...
and do you have friends, though? Like, I could imagine you're at San Diego State, you're on the golf team.
Yeah.
At that point in your life, you're pretty confident. Do you have friends at least?
Yeah, so one of my best friends, Christina, she was my roommate, and I first brought the messages to her where I was getting harassed, and she spent pretty much all day trying to figure out who it was, and she was the one who finally kind of cracked the code and said it's this girl, and you know, they're the ones that are doing it. So she's been like my best friend, and she's been through kind of the ups and downs, and so I have a really good group of friends, but it's, you know, a small group.
Yeah, and cyberbullying's a little bit outside of my realm other than being a parent.
Yeah.
And I watch it. What would you suggest for someone that is being bullied, either personally or in the digital world?
It's really difficult. It's taken me probably 4 years to kind of figure it out. You just can't let it affect you. I know the words definitely hurt and what people say. It's really hard. But I just try to kind of not, if someone says something, I either just block it or I ignore it, or I come back and I say something really funny. And I know that if they're saying something to me, they're probably hurting in their own life. So most of the time I actually do reach out to them and say, hey, like, what's going on? Are you okay?
There you
and
go.
99.9% of the time they respond, I'm a huge fan. Thank you so much. I am dealing with something. I'm depressed. I'm this or I'm that. And it just does a complete 180. And you have someone who hated you, and now they're kind of like a fan for life.
I think that's so funny because I'm the biggest hypocrite in the world, right? Once you get out there giving advice to people and writing books and speaking, you become a really big hypocrite because you're still human. So
Yeah.
with 3 teenage daughters, I literally sometimes would tell them, oh, don't give it any energy. Give them understanding and pray for their happiness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the same philosophy. Then I'd get on to, you know, the old man of Instagram and have someone troll me and my feelings were hurt.
Yeah.
Right? And then I came up with my solution, and I'm like 50 years old at the time. But my wife's like, what's the matter? I'm like, this person thinks I stole gratitude from Gary Vee, and like they're really mean to me.
Yeah.
I didn't steal gratitude.
And it could be anything. And that's what I always tell people. It's like, yes, you remember when people are nice to you, but you always remember that time someone said something mean to you. It could go back 50 years, 70 years. You always remember that one time being bullied, and it really just sticks with you, and it's hard.
In the brain, this is interesting because I've studied this, because it's more negative and positive energy.
Yeah.
So the brain, negative information, negative energy, takes up more of your brain than if a positive thought. So that's why we dwell on the losses,
Yeah.
we dwell on the mistakes, we dwell on the negative things that people say. And I think it's so important, you know, to try to switch things around. I love now, anyone that trolls me or says anything negative, I will literally say almost the same thing. Hey, you know, I really want to understand where you're coming from. Here's my cell phone.
Yeah,
Call me.
no.
And the ones that actually call are like the hugest fans, and they apologize.
No,
they're
it's almost like a cry for help. And I think you do have to find what works for you. Sometimes that philosophy doesn't work for a lot of people, and sometimes just blocking them is better. But there has been times where someone has said something and I try to defend myself, and I never feel good about myself, and they're just going to keep saying what they want to say. And so something that it's really important to me is I just try to be myself 100%, and I make fun of myself a lot of the time. I think when I went into social media, I wanted to kind of make a difference and have like real change. Then I realized that maybe that's not going to happen, and I don't have that influence, but I can bring some kind of joy with a funny video or something that's silly, and that makes me feel a lot better. So everything that I post now is not serious at all. I'm not trying to preach anything. I'm just trying to have a good time, and hopefully like someone will have a better day because they laughed at one of my videos.